What is up, you guys? All right, so we are about 1 week into this sucker, the 21-day Wake Up O Sleeper Challenge, and I'm feeling great. Hope you guys are too. So with that said, this upcoming week is definitely going to be a little more physically demanding, physically challenging versus mentally, which is what we've been really focusing in on this week. So I kind of wanted to bring you guys this message to not only help you finish up this week strong, but also to motivate you for the week ahead as we hit the ground running. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm a pretty big Star Wars fan. And the great thing about these films is the mindset of the Jedi is pretty on point when it comes to being a man. And I remember specifically in Empire Strikes Back, Luke asks Yoda, he said, "How will I know the good side from the bad?" And Yoda simply replies, "You will know when you are calm, at peace." And that just goes along perfectly with what we've been doing this week, clearing our mind, becoming calm, removing the distractions, and embracing that stillness. You gotta ask yourself, how does the enemy usually attack? It's through the mind, right? That's why it's so important and so vital to find that calm frequency every single day. Now, speaking of Star Wars, I'm ecstatic for this new Obi-Wan Kenobi show coming out next month. I'm a prequels guy. I grew up with the prequels, so I'm a huge fan of that not just the world, but the characters in it. And to me, Obi-Wan, out of all the characters in Star Wars, he's the best. He's the most stoic by far. And so it's gonna be cool to kind of dive back into that whole prequel world next month. But like I said, his stoicism is completely just unmatched, right? I mean, look, we're talking about a guy here who lost his master, Qui-Gon Jinn, at a young age. This guy was like a father figure to him. He then lost his Padawan, Anakin, to the dark side. This was his boy, dude. This was like his brother. He helped raise him for, 13 plus years. And as a result, he experienced Order 66, which, man, all his fellow Jedi were brutally murdered and just wiped out. And which in return then forced him into exile. All this stemming from Anakin rising up, rebelling against the Jedi, and joining forces with Palpatine, and rising up the Empire. Then, on top of all that, having to watch over this kid named Luke on this little farm in Tatooine for the next 20 years after that, all while constantly being hunted down, which I think we're going to be seeing in this upcoming show. But hey, look, listen. Now, if anybody had an excuse to go to the dark side, it would have been Obi-Wan. Despite being faced with constant opposition, betrayal, devastation, hardship, he remained steadfast. He remained pure. He never faltered. He remained on that path. How did he do this? How did he stay so pure and focused while other dudes, other Jedi like Anakin, fell? He didn't let anything get to his head. His vision, his mind, his path was clear at all times. He was focused. Anakin was not focused. Anakin let the words of Palpatine constantly get in his head, little bits at a time, right? And that shifted Anakin's focus. That shifted his focal point, right? This is why it's so important to have a clear mind, you guys. That's why we're doing this week. This is why right here this is why we buzzed our heads. This is why we've been doing our quiet, peaceful 1 mile walks. This is why we've been doing our Wim Hof breathing exercises to remove the distractions, remove the nonsense, remove all those things that we face on a daily basis. I'm talking social media, music, the news, TV shows, prawn, all the negative influences in people and the environments that we are constantly surrounded by every single day. All this just negative information that we are constantly allowing to flood our minds and bog down our brain. And you know, the sad thing is the world's got us by the balls, and we don't even realize it. They got us by the balls, and they're just taking us wherever they please. Like I said in my last video, the more we tune into these things, the more we just turn off our brains and plug into social media our Spotify playlists. We become consumers because the more we stop thinking for ourselves and allow culture to think for us, the more product they can sell. And we'll buy it. Again, you guys, there's nothing wrong with these things, but the second you start making them top priority in your life every single day, day in and day out, the more you let culture lead you rather than God lead you, this is where we start to fall to that dark side, that dark path, like Anakin did. Hey, just like when Anakin allowed Palpatine to constantly whisper in his ear, when we let those negative influences in, little bits at a time, may not seem so significant at first, but it starts to accumulate. It starts to shift our focus. When you constantly pump your ears with bad negative music, when you constantly watch shows on Netflix that you know you shouldn't be watching, when you constantly hang out with people that you know you shouldn't be hanging out with, watch out. Watch out, my brothers. The Bible says, do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. It changes you. Maybe not at first initially, but 100% it changes you over time. If you're one of those dudes who thinks that they can just invite that evilness in all day, all that negativity in all day, and it won't have no effect on you, well then, hey, my brother, just being real with you, you're pretty full of yourself, and you need to get rid of that ego, and you need to get rid of it quickly, because that's a one-way ticket to going down that dark path without even realizing it. Ain't nobody that tough. That's why it's, everybody is influenced by something or someone. That's why it's so important to be influenced by the right things. That's why it's so important to tune into the things that are going to be building you up. It's like this. I actually, I was reading this book right here, Atomic Habits, the other day, and it had a great analogy that I wanted to share with you guys. And it said, imagine if you were in a plane and you were getting ready to travel from LA to, say, New York, and the pilot decided to shift the plane just 2 to 3 degrees, right? Barely anything. It may not seem so significant at first, right? But hey, by the end of that trip, you'll probably end up somewhere near Washington, D.C. In the same way, it doesn't matter where you start or where you are currently at. A slight shift in your daily habits can veer you completely off track. I know this firsthand. This is why we are doing these challenges, to get us back on track, to get that plane back and aligned to our destination. See, in life, you are either growing or you are regressing. There's no coast in the in-between, right? And it's not about having this big old momentous transformation or revelation one day where your whole life just changes. No, man. It's about the small habits that you make on a daily basis. And those small habits are either going to make you 1% better or 1% worse. And depending on which route you choose to go, those little 1%ers, they start to add up, they start to accumulate. And that's why so many people, they wake up one day and say, how did I get here? How did I get so fat? How is my marriage so horrible? How are my kids, how do they hate me so much? How did I become such a liar? What happened? Decisions that they made that they thought were insignificant at first, but they built up. So what do we take from this? As men, what do we take from this? That every little thing matters. Everything you do and everything that you tune into. So keep that in mind as you finish up this week and as we head into the upcoming week ahead. I'll let you guys know what week 2's challenges are this Sunday, so stay tuned for that. And I'll see you then. Peace.